this week on the Socratic Cinema podcast.
I thought you were going to say certified freak.
7 days a week.
All of our movies are kind of cultured except for Devil All the Time. I mean,
Yeah, that's just
Devil All the Time is
white
that-
corruption.
Oh, I see.
Southern white culture. So let's not leak our locations too much here, guys. Los Angeles area is all you. Here. Oh, you should do Lent with me. So let's do a social media cleanse over Lent, guys.
Welcome back to another episode of the Socratic Cinema podcast, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Charlie Heatherly.
My name is James DeLisio.
And I'm Kasey Clark.
And today we are talking about one of my favorite movies.
Now it is.
One of my favorite comedies. Yeah, now it is, now that I've watched it. Because this movie is so insanely charming, it's so great, and it has one of my favorite people in it, Jon Favreau. We are talking about Chef.
Woo!
All positives all around. This is great. This is just the most feel-good movie ever, and I love it so very much. But as always, I should not be the first one to say my opinions. We'll go clockwise around the table. So, James, what are you thinking?
All right, listen. Chef was my pick for Recordathon. How we picked our movies for Recordathon is we kind of all picked some movies and then we filled it out. So Charlie picked Wonder Woman 84.
Whoa, don't blame that movie on
Great
me.
pick, Busta.
What are you talking about?
You were like, we should also be sure to do Wonder Woman 84.
I wouldn't call it my pick,
It was
though.
Charlie's pick. Casey's pick was Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Sure was.
Sure was. Dang straight. My pick was Chef. Not topical, not relevant at all, but a film that I have always been interested in.
Oh, look at me. I'm so indie. Sorry.
And you know what? I have no regrets at all. Chef was my favorite of the 5 we watched by a decent margin. I love Chef. I think about Chef every day. I listen to this movie as I go to sleep at night. I don't do that, nor do I think about it every day. But Chef was so good. I watched it with friends, which I think made it even better also. This is a movie about community and family, and so watching it with people is excellent. But Chef is bananas good, guys. The music, the editing, the cinematography, the cooking scenes, the characters, the plot. Oh my gosh. It just made me feel so happy. And I finished the movie, and it's ironic that I said happy because Jon Favreau plays Happy Hogan in the Iron Man movies.
What a crazy reference you just
Yeah.
went for.
Directed by Jon Favreau, starring Jon Favreau, a child actor who I thought was actually really good, too. Chef is a great movie. I recommend this movie to everybody. I think everyone should watch Chef. I think it's great for the family, aside from some language. It's a great family night movie. I don't think there's anything I disliked about this movie. You know what? Hey, 10 out of 10. Chef. That's it.
Wow. A 10 out of 10.
No, I agree with him. I give this a 10 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10 from Certified Fresh from Charlie and
Certified
Jim.
Heatherly.
I thought you were going to say certified freak.
7 days a week. Don't want to do the next lyric of that song.
Man. All right, I'll go next. I really like Chef. I needed a pick-me-up after Devil All the Time because I was like, I need happiness. And Chef gave me happiness. Like, I am a Food Network connoisseur.
Oh, yes.
As you could say. I'm very familiar with
Quite.
Guy Fieri.
Bobby Flay.
And I was enjoying myself. Like, it was funny. It was like heartfelt, but not like heart-wrenching, if you know what I mean. Like, it was just like
emotional in a good way, in a really good way.
just like it's like intimate, you know, like it's just like a really, really feel good movie. And as James was saying, like, besides language, like, this is a family movie. Like, you could watch it and laugh with your family. Like, I think it's
a great
amazing
family movie.
Yeah. And it's like, what if you took one of those like filmed cooking shows and then you just like put a really good story behind it?
Yeah.
That's what Chef
Like
is.
it's like Edgar Wright editing tier, I think. In this cooking scenes, especially with the music.
It's so good.
It's so incredible.
I was so hungry.
The soundtrack is honestly to die for.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know
Totally.
how they nailed it as much as they did. But yeah, no, I completely agree with what everyone's saying. I really like this movie for a very specific reason. My Socratic Cinema co-host will get this, but my dad looks insanely similar to Jon Favreau. Like, it is nearly identical, the way that they look. They both have the black curly hair, both same body type, both have the same sort of beard. They're just the same person, which is really weird. I think he's been mistaken for Jon Favreau before. But, like, I really like this movie because it actually mirrored a lot of my relationship with my own dad. Not with, like, you know, the whole divorce part. That did not happen to me. But specifically, like, the bonding over a central passion. For us, it's games. For them, it's food. But, like, that whole story of having the, you know, sort of foul-mouthed father give you, you know, some you know, good love through some sort of adventure or going to different places. It reminded me a whole lot of the times that I went with my dad to Comic-Con. Because that's where we sort of, you know, nerded out. That was where our food truck was, essentially, if you want to compare it to that. But really refreshing, I think, plot structure, because we've been watching a lot of, you know, dark anime, dark movies, where it's like so much, you know, just pain and suffering to get to a little bit of resolution at the very end.
Yeah.
This movie is all about, look, we'll hit you with the sort of sad parts first, and then the rest of it is uphill, baby. We are going up and up and up.
You know how normally in movies there's like this emotional low point right before the climax? That's simply not in Chef. Like, it's a very interesting, it's not a very traditional plot structure.
Yeah.
We have this high and mighty chef who we see is kind of washed up, and then, like, basically the last half an hour of Ratatouille is the first half an hour of this movie. Like, he gets shut down by the critic hard, has a breakdown over it, his family falls apart, even further than it already has, and then he gets a food truck and bonds with his son, and literally the rest of the movie is just happy, good food truck times. Like, and it's so refreshing. Like, it's great. And yeah, I don't know, it's just really, like, refreshing to see good things happen to people for once.
Yeah, because it completely throws away the traditional Hollywood convention of like, this is how your plot should work, in favor of just making you feel like these characters are the realest possible people they can be.
Yes.
Like, there's something nice about seeing somebody succeed, especially in the way that Jon Favreau's character does. Like, I think my biggest praise of this movie has to be the relationship between Jon Favreau, his son, and then also the chef friend. I forget his name.
That's a wonderful dynamic.
Martin's his name.
Martin is, like, the best character in that movie.
He is.
Because of how phenomenal his acting and friendship with Jon Favreau is. Like, it's just, they're real people. There's no possible way they haven't known each other for their entire life.
Martin is the friend everyone wants. He's such a good friend. He stands by Jon Favreau. I forgot his name. Carl, through everything. He's wonderful.
Yeah.
Like, through thick and thin, when Carl is humiliated by the chef, Martin is there. He's wonderful. I think he was also in the Leonardo DiCaprio modern take on Romeo and Juliet. You know that guy.
I know.
I forgot his name. I seen that guy.
God.
I was like, where have I seen this actor before? Oh, Romeo and Juliet.
Prestigious.
Prestidigitation. But
nope.
Nope, not quite what that is.
Black bottom.
You've seen the breast. I like some of the themes of this movie. I think are very interesting to me. I've been talking a lot about recent. What? Why do you guys look so misty-eyed over it?
Well, no, my thing was, so we're making fun of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, where there's the kid with the stutter in it. I have a stutter, okay? Or I used to have a stutter. I don't have it anymore, but, like, so I'm allowed to say that. But he has this really funny thing where he goes black, and then James, instead of saying rest, he said breast, which I was laughing over.
Ha, guys. But no.
He said the funny word.
I mean, a lot of, recently I've been thinking a lot about, like, art for yourself versus art for other people. And I think that's a central theme of Chef is all this time. It's sort of the opposite of what I think, though, because I'm very much in the camp of, like, art should be something for yourself, like a self-expression thing. But this movie, at least in my interpretation, it's like all this time. Well, I don't know which way I take it, because it's like all this time Carl has been stuck in this restaurant making food he doesn't want to make. Well, I guess it does agree with mine then. He's stuck in this restaurant making food he doesn't want to make for people, you know, who he doesn't really care about. It's like this generic, non-fancy food that he doesn't want to be cooking at all, and we see that in the opening scene where he wants to cook this exotic pork dish with the pig head and, like, all this fun stuff. And then over the movie, it's about him learning to, like, get away from all that and cook personal food from his background for himself and his family, and pursue this personal passion project of the food truck. And so I think it's an interesting journey of him learning how to like rediscover why he loves cooking and do it for the ones he loves instead of like selling out. It's sort of like also like passion versus profitability is sort of another big thing I found, especially in the beginning. Yeah, I don't know. That's just sort of some picking I did.
No, totally. I think that this movie as a whole, it has a great message about, as an artist, you sort of need to balance between, doing stuff for profit and getting money, and then actually, finding creative fulfillment. Because a lot of artists in the real world are going to be exploited for their talents and do things that they probably don't want to do, which is, the practical value of a lot of artists is that you're going to need to do some things that are not, the most creative or the most innovative. But Carl, with his food, I think he actually finds food through his failure and like the real purpose of it. Because if you talk to a lot of chefs, then all of them say the same thing, which is essentially food is like the great uniter. Everybody gets hungry. Everybody can taste a good thing.
I heard that one on the Food Network more than once.
Yes.
Exactly. Every chef will say the same thing. That's the reason why all of them cook. And that's what Carl finds, is like, instead of making his food for critics and trying to impress a critic, he makes food for people. Yeah. And that's where he finds fulfillment and joy in his life.
That's big. That's huge. That's totally true, I think. And all of these themes that we're kind of mentioning are they're really kind of married to each other. And it's sort of like Charlie was saying, it's just about like your passion it's almost a weird duality of like he's doing it for himself, but he's also doing it for others. Like, I mean, being a chef is a serving role. Like you're making things for other people to enjoy, not for yourself. And it's really, it's about finding like fulfillment through giving, but also like through kind of reclaiming, the passion you lost from being a sellout food critic guy. The food critic character, I kind of wish he didn't come back at the end, honestly. He comes back at the end for a second and is like, I thought we were just joking that whole time, man. I love your food. This is great. Like, obviously your food sucked back then, but I thought we were just messing around. And it's like, oh, so that mental breakdown was for nothing? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it fits the whole kind of like, food is good, let's party in the food truck vibe of the rest of the movie. Like,
well, yeah, food's uniting them together, and I think you needed some sort of resolution for like all the trauma that happened with that character specifically. And it actually talks a lot about how the critic, developer, whether it be for film, TV, food, any creative thing, works within a lot of these different mediums, because reviewers and creators are always friends. Like, they know each other, they're coworkers, but they're fundamentally at odds with one another. So I think exploring that relationship was sort of interesting, and I don't think it needed to be explored more than it did. I think they got just the right amount of review content in there for me to really care, but it felt a little bit out of place in the ending. And I think that specifically the ending where they rushed to the wedding was a bit like, whoa, let's like slow down a little bit here. But I don't know. I thought it was nice. I liked it.
Yeah, with the food critic, I find their like arc pretty interesting. For me, I just kind of took it as he just wanted him to not sell out. He didn't want brunch food. He wanted like authentic.
He was sort of like a catalyst for. He was sort of encouraging him in a kind of roundabout way.
He was the embodiment of you're washed up. Like get it together.
Yeah, no, for sure. I agree. I don't think he was bad at all. He was sort of like a Anton Ego, but a nicer guy. Yeah, I thought the critic was fine. It was just something that felt a little bit out of place to me, I guess, at first.
I agree that the ending was a bit like, oh, and now we're cool.
It was almost a little too shoehorned for me, But again, it was so enjoyable that I don't care enough to be like, it was too good to be mad at.
Yeah, what I thought was I love the fact that Sofia Vergara got back with Jon Favreau. I'm glad that they at least ended on that, although I would have liked to see a little bit more of them in the food truck together. It's very clear that she is trying to warm back up to him for the entire movie. Yeah. So I don't feel like it's that much of a stretch. I just would have liked just a minute more of like, that wedding scene at the end to really linger on that and that happiness. But like, their whole relationship is so wholesome and so nice, and it's very obvious that they're united through their interest of like really bringing up their child together and making him as happy as possible. But also they just genuinely love each other and each other's energy, even though
Yeah.
Carl is ridiculous and crazy.
And after, like, again, movies these days trying to be so deep, like Marriage Story, it's nice to see a movie just say, like, you know, we don't need to do anything crazy subversive here. Let's just have a good time. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's some unexpected virtue in just having a good time, you know?
Yeah.
I really appreciate that Chef did not try to, like, do any crazy twists at the end or subversions with the character relationships. It was like, no. You know where this is going, and we know where it's going, and we're going to let it go there. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, the question is, why don't more films that try to be happy do this? Like, why do filmmakers feel the need to make the moment before happiness such a dark point in somebody's life? It always has to be some realization or some final challenge to surmount. Like, why can't we see someone just, like, be successful?
It's like, I think it's what I think Chef is it's the hero's journey, but scooted over a little bit.
Oh, totally.
Instead of us starting at the beginning, like we start at the height of this guy's career. I think it's hero's journey, but starting from the low point instead of starting from, you know, ordinary world, right?
Yeah. I don't know, because you bring up a very good point, and for me, I guess it would be laziness that people don't necessarily want to commit fully to, like, making happiness truly happy fully. Like, they want to kind of like half do it and then
but at what
use
cost, you know?
and then use something like horrible to make it like, oh, look, the happiness is better because look at this horrible thing that happened. So anything's better than rock bottom.
Yeah.
Instead of like working on, as this movie does beautifully, like the climb up.
It's like we somehow got it in our heads that happy things are unoriginal or like are no longer creative or good, and so people just are being gritty for the sake of being gritty or subversive for the sake of being subversive. And I had some of those fears with Pixar going down that path, but they keep doing well, so I have nothing to complain about yet. But it's nice to see a movie that just lets you have fun. It's as simple as that, and it's the you know the deepness of Chef in that it is the fact that it's not that deep, right?
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, no, the story is quite literally what you see it as, right? Like there's no major like themes to dig into besides like, you know, family and connection and that whole thing. Like this is a movie that is meant to elicit emotion from somebody. And I think, Kasey, you make a really good point. Like, happiness is this thing that we feel like there needs to be a contrast to, which is something that I feel like, and I agree with you, I don't think the inverse is true, though. If you have a movie that's just constantly sad and, like, gets progressively sadder and sadder, like, for me, Devil All the Time, personally, I'm not super invested in that. So I need some moments of contrast where there's some happiness in there to really feel the sorrow a bit more, which is interesting because I think that shows that happiness is such a universal goal of humans that like when there's so much happy and we see so much success, like it feels better to us and we don't necessarily need the contradiction that we do when everything's going wrong. Like we're always looking for happiness, so when it's not there, it's especially soul crushing.
Unless you're Joe Gardner or 22, in which case happiness is a facade, and really you should just be living.
You should just be content,
and that's enough for you. Content, because contentedness is so much more sustainable than happiness, man. That's the thing.
That's a word.
I like them as synonyms.
Charlie said they're the same.
Yeah, I'm content.
You're not
happy.
You're not metaphysical enough for this podcast.
I should be more metaphysical.
Read some.
I'll transcend really quickly. I'm sorry.
Hold up.
It's like, let me just go to the astral plane real quick.
Okay, question, because we just did Soul.
Yeah.
Would Soul have been better if we didn't have this like fight at the end?
Like this, what do you mean?
Like, what if it was more just a gradual realization and progression? Did we really need to have like that right before the climax, everything goes awry?
I don't think we did.
No.
I don't think we did, but I think they put it in because that's what's expected of a kid's movie, is a bombastic climax. That would be too nuanced for a kid's movie. Like, Soul was already pushing it.
Well, so that's my thing with Soul. I don't think it's necessarily a kid's movie.
Right, but I mean, Pixar is going to think of it as a kid's movie.
Sure.
And market it as a kid's movie.
They need to get their audience straight then. But I think movies have a lot to learn from Chef. I think that sticking too much to this 3-act structure and the whole climax rising action thing, although it makes for obviously great stories, right? Like, there's no point in refuting that it's a great storytelling device.
Yeah.
There's a lot more ways to tell a story. And I think Chef does that so very well. And it does it really, really impressively.
And now that I think, a lot of my favorite films are ones that kind of stray away from the 3-act structure. I mean, you have things like Totoro or Spirited Away, where it's less of a 3-act structure and more of just like about capturing a feeling or like making an impression rather than telling a story. Or you have movies that I really enjoy, like Ballad of Buster Scruggs, like anthologies. Let's get more anthology movies.
Yes.
There's so many more ways to tell stories than just the 3-act structure. Or you can do what Chef does and take a story structure but start from a different point in it. Like you can get creative and mix it up. Why reduce yourself to what's tried and true? Take a risk in, like Chef did, in being completely non-risky and just tell a story that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Well, that's where the risk is. Like, in being so basic in terms of its plot, like, that's a huge risk, especially when you're pitching to studios. Like, what they're expecting is there to be some drama, there to be some action, some entertainment. This movie is just, it's all up. I don't think that this movie could have been made without somebody like Jon Favreau at the helm. Because although people now think of him because of The Mandalorian and The Lion King and Iron Man, think of him as this big, like, Hollywood blockbuster director, he started off doing indie films. I mean, this guy did Swingers. This guy's done Chef. Like, at the core of it, I think he takes the passions and the understanding of an indie filmmaker and applies them to big budget projects in a way that make people trust him. And I'm so glad that he's been doing that because, I mean, we see how Mandalorian went. Like,
yeah, Mandalorian. But I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna be a little bit self-aware here and say that I think we have to point out that Chef probably wouldn't have worked with such a simple story. I don't think it would have performed as well if it wasn't so stylistic. I think if Chef was a bland movie with a bland plot, it would have been bad. But because it was such an enjoyable and classy movie with a basic plot, it was refreshing, you know? I think the style of this film is super duper important. I mean, like I said, it feels, the cooking scenes feel reminiscent of an Edgar Wright movie. It just in the snappy, like, let's cut to the music and cooking, and it was so nice. Like, Cooking Channel on steroids. I love it. I found out there is a series on Netflix called like The Chef Show or something.
yes.
Yeah.
Made by, heard of it? It's great.
It's made by Jon Favreau, and it's they cook some recipes from the movie, I believe. They make that pasta he made for his almost mistress, Scarlett Johansson.
Ooh, that was...
Oh, girlfriend.
Things got a little close. I was worried we would have a marriage story on our hands.
Yikes. What happened to ScarJo in that movie?
We never really saw her again.
He moves on.
Which I'm fine with.
The thing, you know,
good for you, man.
Which is like, that's like another great part of the movie. Like, we start, and then as soon as he like hits rock bottom and like he's like done with the restaurant, he's done with everything, and then once like Molly, I believe her name is, like gives him not like permission, but like encourages him to like go off and do what he needs to do because he's obviously not happy, and then like he does, and we never see that like darkish part of his life again. Like, we never come back to the sous chef that kind of took advantage of his breakdown and was like, sorry bro, and we never come back to like the overbearing like restaurant head. We never come back to Molly. Like,
we leave toxic environments.
Yeah, which is great because that's how a lot of relationships in real life work. Like, you don't always have a reconciliation with people. Some people you just move on from, you stop talking to. Like,
and even in something like Molly, it wasn't necessarily like toxic. I mean, that seemed like a very helpful and healthy relationship for both of them. And sometimes you just drift apart, and that's okay. Like, I have plenty of friends who, like, you know, I used to be super tight with, and it was great, but people just grow apart, and it's just a thing that happens. But
seasons
of life. It's a new season. But yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Yikes. But about Molly,
that one's a deep Socratic Cinema cut right there.
The lore. But Molly, I enjoyed Molly as a character. I think she was. I'm glad they did not, you know, go that route in having them have like a. It's not really an affair if they're divorced, but you know.
It's a conflict of interest.
It is a conflict of the audience's interest because we want to see Jon Favreau get back together with his wife. I was thinking about our movie selection, and all of our movies are kind of cultured, except for Devil All the Time. I mean,
Yeah, that's just
Devil All the Time is
white corruption.
I see.
Southern white culture.
It's Americana.
It's yeah, but I mean,
American culture.
this
just
we
killing
get our
people.
beautiful Latin representation in Chef.
Oh,
we
dude.
get a lot of black representation in Soul and Ma Rainey, and then in Wonder Woman we get boring movie representation. So
Yeah.
We get Amazonian
white passing representation apparently.
Egypt's
I've got
in there at one
educated.
point.
Yeah, Cairo. But I just thought that was interesting to point out.
Mm-hmm.
I love. I loved how like alive Chef felt with the cult. I mean, from the New Orleans like. Oh, it was just so. It felt very vibrant and alive, and I really enjoyed seeing like, because that's a big thing with food is the cross cultural parts of it, like marrying different things and bringing fusion, bringing out the best in all sorts of cultures. And I really like that. Is Jon Favreau? Is he white?
No clue.
Well, because his wife, at least in the movie, is Cuban.
Yes.
I don't know.
He
My
spent
dad's
time
white,
in
so that means Jon
Miami.
Favreau's white.
So that's like Cubanos.
Yeah. But maybe that's a cute way of him trying to win her back by making her
That would
cultural
be
food.
so cute.
That would be so cute.
Well, he was originally from Miami, in that movie at least.
Yeah,
Carl
and-
was from Miami, so like he probably grew up around that food, whether or not he was
Sure.
white.
Yeah. I mean, melting pot, man. Right. That's how it works.
Especially with Miami, that city has a very vibrant food culture. One of the things that we haven't even said yet, which is a big part about this movie, is social media.
I was gonna
oh,
bring that
yeah.
up.
The good and bad parts about social media. I'm curious. Do you guys have any main theories or opinions on social media's portrayal in this movie?
Well, I'd like to start off with the whole like tweet box thing. Like I'm not sure necessarily like when Chef came out to like in the wide spectrum of when that was popular, because you see like a whole bunch of Netflix shows doing it now where it's like you're texting and the like box
the little
is
box
showing
pops up.
I think Chef did it first, and until I'm proven wrong, I will stand by that.
The pioneer.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the most like true representation of social media is that like a Twitter interaction can cause someone to have a breakdown and the other guy is just like, I thought we were joking. Like that's like the epitome.
That is how
of
social media
works. And it's honestly like it's so funny because we get like the social media aspect in his interactions with his son, and his son kind of like teaching him how to use social media while being like the social media manager and doing all these like the second video I did, that was
the 1 second a day. Yeah.
Oh
That
my
was-
god.
That was a beautiful way to like
Yeah.
kind of put an emotional cap on the movie, I think. And it's like, because really that's kind of the arc of the movie, is reconnecting with his son more than anything.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Mending that relationship.
Yeah. But I think it was really fun how we have social media be this thing that tears Jon Favreau down, but then it also ends up being the thing bringing him back to his son. So I didn't even think about that at all. But
It's one of the most accurate portrayals of social media I think I've seen. I've always been saying that social media is a double-edged sword. Like,
yeah.
Totally, you can use it in an incorrect way and you can use it in a correct way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that this movie shows both ways how it can heal and harm. And really, it just did it very well. I think Kasey's right. I think we got to claim, stamp the flag on here for this is the first movie that did that text thing, so it's not cliche yet.
Yeah. Chef did it first, even if it didn't do it first.
Chef did it first. So I absolutely loved that. I thought all the social media stuff was great. And I love how they went to all these different cities too, and incorporated all the different foods there. Like Aaron Franklin's, I'm pretty sure that's his name, Aaron Franklin. Franklin's barbecue is like the best barbecue in the entire world. And
That's a real place?
oh yeah, are you kidding?
All the places that they visited. Were
Yeah.
really-
Oh, I didn't know that.
You know how they went to Guero's in Austin. They went to Aaron Franklin's. That's where they had the Austin Midnight special on their food. And that's something that Aaron Franklin actually does, by the way. He will collaborate with those food truck people and make dishes like that.
Oh, cool.
But it was nice to see actual chefs and actual places also be represented in this movie. Like, this is a love letter to that sort of, to the food cultures of probably not Los Angeles, because they dashed on that.
Although we do have a lot of food trucks here.
We do have a lot of food
do.
trucks.
We have a
here.
lot of really smacking food trucks here. Like,
Yes.
there's always a ton parked out by like the LACMA, like the Art Museum of Art.
Oh yeah.
Smackaroos.
And at the racetrack. Do you guys know the Santa Fe
Really?
racetrack? Yeah, no, they would have this like festival where it would just be all food trucks. I
that
would always
sounds
get the grilled
glorious.
cheese.
Well, I mean, our city used to have a food and wine festival. And,
Yeah.
And then COVID happened.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's not leak our locations too much here, guys.
Yeah.
Los Angeles area is all you need to know.
We live in Montecito. It's throwing them off the trail.
Montebello.
Montebello.
Monte something. Montezuma's Revenge. We live on the ride.
Ride.
But no, you're totally right. This is most definitely a love letter to food culture, and it would have been nice to see them go to LA. But whatever.
Well, it took place in LA. The first restaurant's LA.
Yeah.
That is?
Yeah.
Oh, I never picked up on that.
What is it? Guy Luis or something?
Guy Louis, I don't know.
I don't know if that place is real or not, but I think it's really funny how they're like, everyone in LA is snobby.
True.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been nice to see maybe a little rat come out of Jon Favreau's hair pulling the string.
Little
This is
Yes.
Ratatouille. How has Pixar not capitalized on making a Ratatouille sequel called Ratatouille? Like with a 2.
They have the TikTok musical. Right?
Yeah.
Like Kick Butuski,
So
remember that?
that's actually
Oh,
a
I
thing,
love
by the
that.
way.
No, yeah.
They're
It's gonna
making
okay.
that into a thing.
Hot take. It's gonna suck. Listen, I'm gonna say it now. It's gonna be like,
Remy, the Ratatouille.
here's what's gonna happen.
Rat of all my dreams.
It's one night only. There's hardly any names attached to it yet.
You should check that cast list, dog.
Is it seriously?
Yeah.
Because here's what I feel like is gonna happen. I feel like it's only one night. Like it just barely got announced. I think everyone's gonna get their hopes up for it, and then it's gonna be really disappointing. It's gonna be like didn't Tumblr back in the day try to have a convention called like DashCon, and it was a huge disappointment. I feel like this is gonna like be a repeat.
Okay, here we go. This is
All right. Lin-Manuel Miranda as Remy.
so Remy is played by Titus Burgess, who was the
yes.
friend in Kimmy Schmidt.
I haven't seen.
He was
Kimmy
really good
Schmidt.
in that. Linguini is Andrew Barth Feldman. Colette is Ashley Park. Chef Skinner is Mary Testa. Django, there's a guy named Django in it, is Wayne Brady of Whose Line Is It Anyway fame. Emil is Adam Lambert, whose name I've heard before. August
Me too.
Cousteau is Kevin Chamberlain. Anton Ego is Andre de Shields. Mabel is Priscilla Lopez. And young Anton Ego is Owen Tabaka.
Listen, I still feel I still feel hesitant. I feel like people are. It's gonna be one of those things where a corporation tries to like.
Kevin Chamberlain
Kevin
as in
Chamberlain.
Bertram from
Wait.
Jesse.
Bertram.
Oh
Jesse.
my gosh! Maybe he will. Maybe he'll fix it.
Holy
I'm just scared. When companies try and hop on the meme and like, capitalize off of it themselves. Like you remember that?
Ratatouille.
Is that what it's called?
No, but that would be if Ratatouille 2 became a
the
musical.
Ratatouille. I am down. But like, do you remember those memes of Gabby Hanna when she like squeaked in her Genius Lyrics video and she was like, "What if I'm the monster?"
Oh yeah.
And then everyone made the memes
Love
of it, and then Gabby Hanna made merch of the memes, and it was everyone was like,
and then it ruins.
"It's like
it.
the joke is over now."
Mm-hmm.
Like I think
Self-awareness ruins jokes.
memes have to stay with the people, and I feel like the Ratatouille musical is just a grand scale of that. So I'm apprehensive about it, but maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised.
I'm very hopeful. Ratatouille the musical will become the best musical because anything is better than Spelling Bee. So
Oh, I like
dang.
Spelling Bee.
You
like
said that with your whole chest.
Yeah.
Listen.
I despise Spelling Bee.
I really like Spelling Bee. I'm sorry.
Oh, the TikTok musical guys. Here, the JJ who does all the like mic on versus mic off.
Oh,
He's in it.
I don't
that's
know
fun.
who that is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's been on like
You
Broadway
uncultured
and stuff.
swine.
Swine. I don't even have a TikTok.
You always send us. Casey sends
I send
Instagram.
Instagram.
Here's what she does. She sends Instagram reels to our group chat, and then you open it, and the Instagram reel is of a TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay, just make a
I
TikTok.
refuse to get the app.
Here. Oh, you should do Lent with me. So let's do a social media cleanse over Lent, guys.
Oh my god.
Last year,
Sure.
I deleted Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Which is weird because he ran a YouTube channel. At
I
the
can
time.
still look. That's inside the rules. 'Cause I can still
That's
do
the
Socratic. I can
loophole.
do Socratic stuff and video editing. That counts.
Like
but
if
this
I watch
year,
on the Socratic account.
no. This year I'm thinking Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and TikTok. Full cleanse. I don't have any other social media.
And TikTok.
Oh, I would have to throw in Reddit in there because I use Reddit a decent amount. I don't know
The
if I
Reddit
can,
spoiler emails coming into our...
I don't know if I can do it, honestly, guys. But if you guys do it with me, maybe.
Maybe.
Puppy dog eyes. I don't want to be alone. We'll just text each other in the group chat.
I don't know. I do like scrolling through TikToks.
I waste so much time on TikTok, though. It's not even funny.
Well, yeah, but like if I'm too lazy to do something in the morning, or I'm suffering from one of those goddamn cluster headaches, I'll just be on TikTok. And then,
I guess so.
I now know the pain of migraines. I can empathize with people. One of our friends gets like daily migraines. I'm not sure if you get them or not, Kasey, but I know that one of my friends whose name will not be on the podcast because I don't know if they want it, but she gets daily migraines, and I'm like, ooh, sort of know what that feels like now. Not great.
No,
not good at
I
all.
would hate it.
Light hurts.
I've never had a migraine, and I'd never want to have one.
There's...
Advil's great.
Yeah, but anyways, Chef 10 out of 10. We have a time crunch on us right now. We have to take a pause for a second here, but 36 minutes is enough, right?
I think that that's what Chef needs. I don't think that Chef is something you need to overanalyze. The beauty of it comes from its simplicity. It comes from its style. I think we talked about all of the major themes that are within it. All of the actors are great, especially the little child actor dude. Let's get some love for him.
Yeah, let's go. Woo!
Really great. He deserves all the praise in the world. He was phenomenal. And yeah, Chef is a great movie. Please go watch it. There's so much good stuff here to see.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. Take advantage. Watch Chef right now. But with that being said, welcome to goodbye to a super short episode of the Socratic Cinema podcast. This is part 4 of 5 in our Recordathon series, so be tuned for the great finale next week. Whatever, these aren't going to be coming out in order. Sorry. Anyways, we hope you've enjoyed the podcast. If you did enjoy it, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop a comment and a thumbs up, letting us know what you think of Chef and who your favorite Food Network person is. Go ahead and follow us on our Instagram at Socratic_cinema, our Twitter at Cinema Socratic. Check out the link tree in our Instagram bio for all of our other social media, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Twitter, Facebook. I think I still need to put the Facebook on there. Twitch. Oh, Twitch.
I'll stream some Sea of Thieves. How about that?
Yeah, Twitch is just hard. Here, I'll stream my CSGO matchmaking. It's gonna be a mess.
3 hours in matchmaking.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, if you want to throw a couple bucks our way a month, you check out our Patreon and get cool perks like your name in the description or access to episodes early, among other fun things. And yeah, that's about all I got. Go cook yourself something healthy for lunch.
Like carbonara.
Okay. We've been Socratic Cinema, everybody. Adios.
Adios. You never do it right. Not once.